What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 356 of Opinions May Vary. I am your host, JR. I have my co-host with me, Alex.
Hello.
Number 2 of 2019. 2 of 52, right?
Yep.
50 to go after this one, in theory. Joining us this week, I'm just going to leave it on that chuckle. Joining us this week is a legend in the making.
Wow.
We're a little spoiled with your presence. We just had you. We just had a taste. We missed the taste, and now we're craving more. Our main man, Colin,
Yo, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you for having me on. Very, very excited.
is back in studio.
You know, and you don't have to, you're lucky guys. If you ever want to taste, just let me know.
Yeah, if we ever
We'll
just,
do.
My taste is yours for the tasting. It's a thing people say.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
sure.
what normal people say to each
That's
other.
a phrase. I've heard that.
Regular people say that.
Yeah.
Comfortable. We are here to talk about the man of spiders. Okay, it's like the new phenomenon. It's like the old new.
We are reviewing the Jeff Daniels vehicle Arachnophobia.
Starring
I had to check.
That is Jeff Daniels. Right?
Jeff Daniels. I
He's
almost
in
went
that.
to Eight-Legged Freaks, and I was like, no, that was
David
David
Arquette.
Arquette, you idiot. And then I remembered that Arachnophobia.
Okay, we need one more. Alex, you gotta name a spider movie. That's not the actual movie we're talking about.
What else is there? There's the one where the guy's really mini and the spider attacks him. What's that movie?
There's the one where the spiders take over the entire town and just web up the entire town, and people are like trapped in a diner.
That's fucking Eight-Legged Freaks, isn't it?
I think so.
No, older than that. The
No,
older one.
older than
Before
that.
Oh yeah.
Was that
The Goon-
Arachnophobia?
No, like
Was Jeff
practically-
Daniels in it?
practically black and white. It's that old.
Whoa.
Like made in the 60s.
Why would you sign on to like a movie like Arachnophobia? Because you know you're going to be in the presence of many spiders.
Touching spiders.
I read the book. I don't know if that came first or not.
That was a book?
Mm-hmm. I think it was a film.
What is that movie
adaptation.
about?
Spiders. Being afraid of them.
Yeah, right?
Uh,
Does it actually about spiders that take over a town? Kind of,
It's
right?
not a whole town. It's just like one house.
Oh, that's not that.
Just leave the
Just-
house.
Just go outside.
Yeah, but they
Where
would,
there are more spiders.
but they would spread. Adventure team goes to the rainforest
Okay.
and starts like doing experiments
On
and,
spiders?
like, gathering specimens,
Like
and be
spiders.
like, "Oh, there's so many undiscovered specimens of all the things."
Uh-huh.
And so they start smoking out this one tree,
Okay.
and like insects just fall into these buckets,
Uh-huh.
and they just take them home.
Cool. That
And
sounds
one
like
of-
a bad move.
And one of them gets loose.
One of the buckets?
The synopsis on IMDb, the one line. A species of South American's killer spider hitches a lift to the U.S. in a coffin and starts to breed and kill.
Like
Yo, and Jeff Daniels is in that movie.
he's a doctor, brand new, moved into like a Midwest South town. Something,
Goodman
As
in
like a
it.
colonial, I
John
believe.
Goodman's the awesome exterminator who kills all the spiders at the end.
It's spoilers.
Wow.
Arachnophobia
We didn't even get to do our
spoilers.
spoiler warning
Like-
for everybody.
Like, it's the movie's 20 years old. Relax.
Whoa, hey.
That
Let's
movie is
Pump the brakes there,
much older than 20 years old.
kiddo. When did it come out?
1990. That
1990.
movie is almost 30,
Wow.
if I'm doing my math right,
I was
It'll
9
be
or
29 this year.
in July.
Wow.
10. Everyone's like trapped in the basement, and the house is like, let's see, like there's spiders everywhere. The entire basement is covered. They're all like tarantula, huge looking things. Then like the door gets kicked into the basement, and there's like John Goodman with like full like yellow rubber head to toe, with like
Like Cloverfield.
with better.
Wow.
With like 2 insecticide sprayers, like double fisting them.
Cool.
And just starts
It's
like
called dual
spraying
wielding.
all these. Thank you. I couldn't get there.
You know, I know
Yeah.
I volunteered to be on for this episode, but I gotta say, I don't know a lot about arachnophobia.
Neither do I.
Should we talk about something else?
Having never seen Arachnophobia, I just figured it would be fun to talk about a really old movie.
You don't just mean like the fear of spiders? Is that not what we're talking about?
Well, let's just switch to Eight-Legged Freaks. David Arquette.
Yeah. He's in
Uh,
love with the sheriff, who's like kind of the serious lady and kind of gives him shit because he's kind of a screw up. And then I don't know how the monsters get there, but they're very big spiders, and they eat the kid from Motocross.
Moto.
Okay.
Crossed.
That shit's real.
There's a lot to unpack here,
Yeah.
but I am hung up on the fact that you have also seen Motocross.
Yo, Motocross? That's like one of the top tier Disney Channel original movies. It's up there with Alley Cat Strike and Brank and Smart House. Give it up for Smart House.
Name the director of Smart House.
I know this. Sam Raimi. Is that not right?
That is incorrect.
Are you sure?
But now my thing doesn't seem as cool.
What is it? Who is it?
LeVar Burton.
Directed Smart House.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
Holy shit.
That's
What
the
has this
most random-
podcast become?
1977 Kingdom of the Spiders starred William Shatner.
Yo, we're way past spiders. We're talking about LeVar Burton and Reading Rainbow now.
You know, someone was wearing that shirt last night. Just last night.
You know, yeah.
I was.
Do you know
actually.
who voiced the Smart House in Smart House?
Who also played her on the screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
When she gained
When she
sentience?
becomes humanoid? Yeah.
Peggy Bundy. I can't remember. Katie Sagal. That's
yeah.
it.
I was going to go with Leela.
Yep.
You know.
No, she's...
Is
But
it
you-
Peggy? I don't even know.
No,
Peggy's
she's
right.
Leela.
Yeah.
It's Leela. Peggy Bundy.
Smart House. Though that whole thing of slew of Disney movies that came out. The one about the drag racing girl. I can't remember that one. Smart House,
Oh.
Motocross, the kid playing baseball
Luck of the Irish.
who just wanted to cook. He's like, I'm a really good baseball player, but I just want to cook. Dad, why don't you accept me? Do you remember that one?
Serious Lessons. I don't remember that one. Are you sure you're not just describing a dream you
Xenon.
had?
Xenon, the sequel.
Girl of the 21st century with fucking Protozoa.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
And my heart
Zoom,
go.
zoom.
Zoom, zoom,
We
zoom.
reversed it.
We did. We fucked it up.
But anyways, Motocross was that was a movie that came up later in life.
Yeah.
We don't need to go into that. Let's talk about the real reason. We are 7 minutes into this. Alex is already on his phone.
Holy shit. We lost him.
The real reason
I'm the host now.
we're talking about, we were kind of hinting toward it. Edge of Spider-Verse. Golden Globe winning Edge of Spider-Verse.
Is it Edge of Spider-Verse?
Nope, that's the name of the comic.
Get the name of the
Into
fucking
this-
movie right.
Into the
Well,
Spider-Verse.
thank God I'm here. You guys would have gone the whole time.
Edge of Spider-Verse, if Edge of Spider-Verse didn't happen, this movie wouldn't happen. So maybe let's relax.
Have you guys read Edge of Spider-Verse?
I read the first 3
It's
issues,
not great.
and that just happened to include the number 2, which I got the first print of, and I was like, oh, cool, that's worth a lot of money now.
What's the one that's currently happening?
Spider-Geddon.
Right.
Spaghetti. Yeah,
Spagheddon is.
it's a lot of
it
different
sounds better
variations
with
of spaghetti.
I liked Edge of Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Because it had some really good Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're a big Doc Ock Spidey
I
guy.
am.
Yeah.
And that had one of my
Yeah.
favorite scenes because the part where they had to get Spider Uncle Ben to get them across the radioactive wasteland
Mhm.
to go obtain a thing.
Yep.
And he just won't do it. And Pete tries being inspirational Pete and being like, "Come on, Uncle Ben.
Let's not condescend and
we
call
can
him Pete.
we
all
can
right?
do it. You got to get out there and be the hero. And everyone's relying on you." And Ben's like, "I'm not doing it." Then Doc Ock gets up there. He's like, calls him names, calls him a fool and a weakling, and just berates him. And Ben's like, "Oh, screw you, we're doing this." And that's what he needed.
So mean.
And that's
so mean.
and Doc Ock, he did it.
Yeah,
He
and
did it with
Doc
Peter.
Ock is the reason Spider-Geddon is happening because
Peter
he's an arrogant
couldn't do it.
piece of shit.
Oh,
Dr. Octopus. That's my impression of Dr. Octopus.
That's exactly
so
what
it's
he
pretty
Who
said.
good,
appears
actually. It's
in
not bad.
Edge of Spider-Verse. That's not what it's called. Yeah, so we're here talking about
Into
Spider-Man
the
Into the
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, which was the bomb-assiest movie of 2018.
Bomb ass
Would you
being
agree?
a positive thing.
Bomb-ass is a good thing.
Mhm.
It's a sweet, rad thing. It's when the ass is so bomb that it's amazing.
I didn't see a lot of. We talked about this last week. I didn't see a whole lot of movies in 2018, but it was probably the best one.
You saw at least 2 with Spider-Man in it.
Yeah, I did. I did see Avengers, which was a fantastic movie.
Infinity War.
Infinity Wars.
Wars. Man, fucking with Infinity War
Mhm.
and Spider-Verse, we can't stop seeing Spider-Man
We're
dying in
spoiled.
movies. That dude
Hey,
can't.
okay, so we're just gonna say spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
If you think anyone
Spoilers
is still
for
tuned in-
Arachnophobia. Spoilers for 8-Legged Freaks. David Arquette gets the girl in the end. And spoilers for Into the Spider-Verse.
Also, Edge of Spider-Verse.
We're gonna go through. We're gonna go through the whole. I don't know if we're gonna go through the whole movie, but we're basically gonna just wax poetic about how good this movie was as a film, as a medium, as a Spotify playlist and as like a Spider-Man product. And it's of let me rewind for 2 minutes and say that Spider-Man had a pretty rad 2018. Came at the cost of death of Steve Ditko and Stan Lee, but Spider-Man, the character, fucking really well represented throughout all of last year. With Infinity War, he had some sweet lines. He got like a kind of a weird suit, but it was kind of cool. The Marvel Spider-Man PS4 game.
It was fun watching Tom Holland and Robert Downey like have their back and forth.
Do their thingies, yeah.
It's like that father-son in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that classic Spider-Man stories where Spider-Man is all about Tony Stark.
With Tony being like, "Don't say it." He's like, still saying, "He's like, I told you not to. Don't even think it. Don't do it."
Quite funny. Tom Holland is quite a charming Spider-Man. The PS4 Spider-Man game, which was probably one of the best Spider-Man things. That's just the blanket statement, period. That's just one of the best
It's
Spider-Man
probably the
things.
best game I played this year next to Celeste, if I had to say.
I mean, Smash Brothers came out late in the game, but I would probably still... I mean, PS4 Spider-Man's probably... definitely the best game that came out last year.
I bought the PS4 Spider-Man based on, like, screenshots. When people were like, oh, hey, like, I saw a quick, like, Reddit gif of, like, hey, I made this of me swinging through the city of New York. Or, I just said New York, by the way. That's what I was trying to say.
There you go.
And I was like, okay, I need to buy this right now because this looks incredible.
It's spectacular. It's amazing. It's sensational. It's Tobey Maguire.
It's Edge of
PS4 Spider-Man.
I just started following the actress who did all the mocap work for Felicia Hardy.
In the game?
Yeah.
She, I feel like she deserves a lot of credit because she was amazing. They nailed Black Cat in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Black Cat. I was pumped to see her in the DLC and even in the main story when she started like kind of popping in and being like,
she's a side mission.
Yeah, she's a sweet little side mission, and she makes like a black suit because in the comics you know that she makes like the non-symbiote version of the black suit. She like makes it for her boyfriend, which is like sweet. But in this one, they like didn't have the symbiote suit, so they made like a black and red one, which is fine. But I wore it for the rest of the game because my girl made it for me. But yeah, the PS4 Spider-Man was sweet, and then SpiderVerse comes out, and it's like late in the year, and it's like, oh, by the way, I know you had a bunch of cool Spider-Man stuff. Here's this movie, and it's just fucking so good. It is so good, and like across the board in terms of like Miles Morales, we get some fucking Gwen Stacy makes her film debut as a Spider Gwen or Ghost Spider.
Yeah.
I think she's called Spider Woman in the movie.
Yeah.
She's technically Spider-Woman in the comics, too.
I thought she was Ghost Spider.
No.
I'm pretty sure she has a book called Ghost Spider.
She might.
She's also had Gwenum.
But when she was introduced as, oh man, it's Spider-Gwen, that's just a name that like we came up with.
Stuck.
Not us, OMV, but like...
Doesn't make sense for her to be
Comic
like,
fans.
I'm Spider-Gwen.
I'm Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, my name's...
I mean Spider-Gwanda.
It's like Spider-Peter.
Peter Man.
I'm
No.
Peter
Peterman.
Parker in a mask. Which was, it was cool seeing her out there not dying. Gwen Stacy's a real cool. I mean, seeing Miles Morales as the lead of a film this week, this mixed race lead character is just
Rocking the sweetest, the nicest Jordan 1s throughout the whole movie. Need them.
real good.
Need them.
Real good footwear.
Yep. The kicks were on fire, and then I was telling Colin about this the other day. They released a special edition of the Jordan 1s that are
really?
modeled after the movie, and they have like the dots on them, like the animation in the movie. They originally retailed for $160, but I can get a pair in my size right now, resale on StockX for only $500. It's it's not bad. Pair of shoes.
Support JR's Kickstarter, his GoFundMe to get
His Kickstarter.
some Kickstarter, Edge of Kickstarter.
That's what they should call that. Buy shoes.
A Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! TM.
Trademark
TM.
that.
That's ours
mine.
now. We own
Yeah.
it.
That's mine.
That's copyright. Yeah. So I mean, the character of Spider-Man means a lot to me, and he means a lot to everybody. So I think in terms of Edge of Spider-Verse, and I think a lot of people are going to this movie and like kind of having their world rocked, but like not just because like, wow, it's such a good representation of like what Spider-Man means, but also like, wow, this is a really fun, entertaining, funny movie that like is told really well. It's something that's like it moves the superhero movie forward. Like this is a very different thing than we've been used to. Who knew Sony was going to do it? You know, after like all the shit, like everyone kind of.
Well, they had a long way to get there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like they're brand new to making Spider-Man,
right? And that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is like they've done so many things, and it's been a long time since they delivered like something. It wasn't since Spider-Man 2 that they delivered something with as much heart as Spider-Verse has. Not only that, but it's like the biggest love letter to the Spider-Verse. You know, I sound corny saying it that way, but like to the Spider-Man franchise out of any of them, and it's not from the Marvel Studios. Like it was written by people who love Spider-Man, who understand Spider-Man, who like the characters, who were invested in Peter Parker and Miles and, you know, May Parker, like all over the place, who made this. And it's coming from the studio that like people were like, me included, were like, stop making Spider-Man, give it to Marvel, you know. And it's a studio that was like famous, much like Fox and all these other, you know, it's in WB, like getting in their own way of trying to make franchises where they're crippling creators into doing something. Like just let them have a vision and then execute that vision. Don't fucking get involved and dick around with. Don't fucking bring Avi Arad to pitch Venom. Like, let people who are passionate creators make a thing.
Forgot about we got a Venom movie too this year.
Yeah, we had a Venom movie.
If you want to, you know, add that to all
Tom
the
Hardy
Spider-Mans.
ate a guy.
All the I didn't see it yet. All the
Tom
Spider-Mans.
Hardy does not eat a guy.
You're not gonna.
I'll eventually.
Yo, Venom was fun, man.
I liked
Venom.
Anyways, I remember when I didn't mean it. I threw off your flow.
Yeah, I was really bad. My heart is beating in my chest really hard because I was very, very excited about the eloquence that I just expressed all that stuff.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what I said.
Totally interrupted it,
Yeah.
like right in the middle.
No, but you guys kind of see what I mean though. Like think of the Fox X-Men movies. Like whoever's making them, do they understand Cyclops? Do they know why people like X-Men? Do people get what this is? But when it comes to Spider-Verse, it's like, let's not try to do a thing. Let's just wholeheartedly love this and show how much love is in this thing.
I feel
Does
like
that make sense?
They've
Did I say love enough?
They've been listening to a lot of fans, not even just of Spider-Man, but like of comics movies as a medium as a whole, because they had a lot of history to build off of.
Yeah.
So every time we go, can you please not kill the Waynes again?
Yeah.
Just fast forward through that. And then we get, here's my 40-second breakdown of why I'm Spider-Gwen. Here's my like 55-second breakdown of this universe Peter Parker. Here's Peter B. Parker.
And the spectacular Spider-Ham.
And like you get like, whoa, those scenes were less than a minute.
Yeah.
We already know what they are. Yeah, he gets bit by a spider. Great. Move on. Thank you.
Well, I mean, even beyond that, like they had the added ability to lean on the old Sony movies. Like there's a lot of Spider-Verse and a lot of the PS4 Spider-Man that like are interesting callbacks and like, oh, this is an amalgam of like the final fight. You haven't played the PS4 Spider-Man.
No.
Okay. The final fight in the PS4 Spider-Man is a very, very excellent combination of the last fight in Raimi's Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and The Amazing Spider-Man. In terms of storytelling and themes, it's all that in one thing.
And it's kind of dark.
It's amazing. PS4 Spider-Man is so good, dude.
If you have
So
anyone who hasn't played it,
good.
hit me up. I'll lend you my
Yo,
copy.
we got it on. I bought it on disc because I was like, I'm gonna hand this out. I gotta
Yeah.
give it to Joe next. I'm supposed to bring it to him to D&D last night, and I fucking forgot. But it doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's so good. The DLC is sweet, and Black Cat has her own episode, and it's awesome. Like, it's so. By the way, a little aside. I know we're talking about Spider-Verse, and we're just at this point just like a really interesting Spider-Man wank-off session is what this whole episode has become already. Because I love Spider-Man. I knew this was going to happen once I started to get going. What suit did you use mostly in the PS4 Spider-Man game?
It was kind of up in the air between a couple. I mostly, like, I started out using Ben Reilly, using Scarlet Spider. It's one of the first ones you unlock. And then I used Spider-Punk for, I'd say, probably the most. And then I used the animated one a lot. The one that looks like a comic book, but you're in the real world.
The classic, the 1960s thing.
And then I used the one with the leather jacket a
Yeah.
little bit too.
I liked that one too. Once
Yep.
I got that, was like, oh, this is a Spider-Man who's literally wearing black jeans and a leather jacket.
With like boots.
That
he has
sounds,
like Timberlands on.
Sounds like a good style.
That sounds like I hate that.
He looks like a Spider-Man
It's awesome.
who would also ride a motorcycle if he didn't have the need to sling webs.
It's from a version of Spider-Man in the comics where he kills Kraven and then is like, I should probably do this more often.
I don't want to see Spider-Man in Timberland boots.
I mean, they're just boots.
yeah,
They're just what boots look like.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It looks
regardless,
cool.
Yeah, he looks dope, dude. Don't fucking worry about it, all right? God. I'm not going to take this from some guy who hasn't played the game. No, but the suits are sweet. And Scarlet Spider 2 is one of the suits that you unlock in the Black Hat DLC.
Yep.
I'm a Kane Parker fan. I'm the one. And I mean, everything about that game is sweet. But SpiderVerse,
We could do
I
a
don't even
whole
know what
separate
to
episode
do.
just on that one
I
game.
don't know what to
I remember when SpiderVerse dropped, but the first news I heard was, I believe, from you, Colin, because it came out, like, you're like looking at your phone and you're like, Nicolas Cage cast as Spider-Man Noir? And I was like, what? The things that you just said out of your mouth make no sense in the physical world. Either
like I was having
explain
a
yourself,
stroke.
yeah, like explain yourself immediately, or I'm taking you to the hospital because you are unwell. And then it just kind of got dropped from there. Like, I didn't think about it again. And then people were like, "Oh, hey, there's a new animated Spider-Man movie coming out," and I remember seeing like a trailer for it.
I didn't really think it was going to be a theatrical release.
Yeah, I thought it was like
gonna-
straight to
well, you
DVD.
read
or
about
something.
it, and it's like,
going to be
you
like
know.
one of the DC Batman movies. You just
Exactly.
you go to Best Buy and get it on your Blu-ray or DVD.
Some people are excited about it. It gets some good reviews.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize
Watch
this.
clips of it on YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't realize this was the movie that Nicolas Cage had been cast in until like he showed up in the movie, and I was like, oh, that's
Oh,
what
shit.
this is.
Wow.
It took me easily 2 weeks afterwards to realize that's who that was.
I mean, we had
I
just
just
seen.
saw Spider-Man Noir. I didn't give a shit who was.
We just saw
voice actor was.
Mandy, so we
Oh,
talked.
yeah.
We talked about Mandy. So I have Nicolas Cage on the brain and Cheddar Goblin.
I never have Nicolas Cage on the brain.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty good segue. The cast of SpiderVerse, pretty top notch.
It was a literal, veritable who's who of. God, I know that voice.
Yo,
Who
did you
is
guys
that?
did you guys know that was Chris Pine?
Yes.
It took me until he was okay. Spoilers. The film is about God. I tried to pitch this to my family, like my brother and my dad. Is like, we should go see SpiderVerse. And my brother was like, what is it like? There's like multiple. I'm confused. And I was like, oh, it's really cool. So there's like a super collider and it's creating multiple universes. And I was like, I lost them already. Like, I can't figure out how to pitch this movie.
God, read a comic book.
Yeah,
Jesus.
fucking jock. Like when I was watching I was starting with a spoiler. So we see the film is about multiple universes kind of converging, which is true in comics. What I like about this movie is it also, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man also exists somewhere out there. Everyone's connected. He could show up in the next one,
Maybe.
which I think would be sweet if like Toby and
Technically, Chris Pine's Spider-Man was the Tobey Maguire
was the Tobey
Spider-Man
Maguire one was going to be that. Yeah, I mean there are some.
because he referenced the
differences.
dance.
Yeah.
He's like, I did this once.
So we see like that Spider-Man of Miles Morales' universe, that Peter Parker who like is blonde. And he's like Ben Reilly, real handsome dude. We see him die, brutal. But I was like, I know this fucking voice, and it's not Jake Johnson. So who the fuck is this? And I think in the trailers, they have Jake Johnson do his voice. Like they dubbed it with Jake Johnson.
I don't know.
I'm slightly convinced that's the case. Because the trailers never really explained what the fuck was happening. Like, I was super confused about the movie.
They do often mess up the trailers on purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, the Hulk's in Infinity War.
But even now, like...
JK, it's the Hulkbuster suit.
They add scenes like them in the subway, like Peter Parker and...
Do you know how many times I've heard the Conan the Barbarian soundtrack in other sword fight movies?
I
in the trailers?
didn't know.
Yeah, it
a
was
lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
And I hate it because I was like, oh, you got Basil Polidoris to write the score for this? Oh no, you didn't. You're just using the Conan soundtrack to do Alexander the Great movie with Colin Farrell. And then it's
Val
never
Kilmer.
in the movie.
Angelina Jolie.
The main one that got me, because Chris Pine, I've been a big fan of
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine,
Comes from
he's
you,
a
yeah.
very he's
I always
above
come on
average.
this fucking podcast to talk about Chris Pine movies.
It's true.
Every time.
For the most part, they're pretty good. The one that I had where like looking at the credits and seeing a name, I went, wait, what? Was Liev Schreiber as Fisk.
Kingpin.
What? I had no idea.
How did we feel about the Kingpin?
He looked really funny. He was like a big piece of poop with a head on it.
You need to go to the doctor.
Your poop doesn't look like that?
I liked the Kingpin. I thought his motivation was wonderful. I thought he
it wasn't just, I want to do bad stuff because doing bad stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
like-
the Kingpin. I have a crime empire.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was an ass. I liked when
Time to do bad.
In 10 seconds, they gave him a good reason.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And like, man, what a good year for fucking Kingpin. Fucking D'Onofrio too. You know. Anyways, I loved the line where he's like, he just kills Spider-Man. He kills the Miles universe.
Oh, I like this one
Brutally.
too.
Brutally.
And he sees Miles like hidden upstairs, like hiding.
Runs
and he goes,
away.
Kill that guy. So
Killed
good.
that guy.
So good.
Like it's like just an annoyance. Like, oh god, there's a mosquito on me.
Yeah.
Kill that thing.
And then he has like a benefit for what a dick. What a dick.
And invites Mary Jane.
Yeah.
And every waiter is wearing a mask.
Just so good. There's so many
Is it seriously going to be that easy?
fucking beautiful moments in this
Can
goddamn
we
movie.
settle for just 1 second?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're skipping.
So Kingpin,
Yeah.
were we okay with his voice?
Yeah, he had like a thick New York accent.
I'm watching the size of this man and like the way he bounces when he moves. He's like a boulder, like rolling almost. You see his shoulders move, and he fills up the entire screen. And he's got that one like head just kind of pops out. But then like his voice is just a regular dude, and I was hoping, like, if we got used to hearing Vincent D'Onofrio's voice, and we go from the Kingpin and Vanessa, and then we get, hey, kill that guy.
Yeah, but even that Fisk talks very weird.
I was like half hoping for like, yo, if we could have got Fat Tony from The Simpsons.
What?
You don't follow that?
No, I'm not a Simpsons guy. I'm a Futurama dude. You know.
I was kind of
Kill that
hoping
guy.
for. I was hoping for something a little different. Because I talked about it with Brett, and he liked it because he felt it gave Kingpin like a very everyman kind of feeling. Like, well, yeah, he's giant and he's huge, but he's a regular dude.
He's a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, it's not something that's really that's not what's setting him apart.
Right.
But like watching what's happening and then hearing it, it wasn't connecting for me.
Oh, see, I disagree. I thought Liev Schreiber did a really, really engaging performance. I thought it was great. You know, and he was frightening.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That shit was scary.
Mm-hmm.
He hits Peter Parker so hard, he dies. Like, wow, brutal.
Very,
But, I mean,
very imposing.
Kingpin was great. I mean, standout Jake Johnson as Peter B. Parker. I thought he did a tremendous job.
It was the first thing I told JR was that it was so nice watching Spider-Man be really good at shit. because we've gotten so many Spider-Man
Yeah.
who's like, I'm brand new to being Spider-Man. How do webs work?
Mm-hmm.
And we just get like, no, he knows everything.
Mm.
He knows he can always save the day. He's like, hang on, I got to go fight the Green Goblin some more. And
He's like
Chris
casually
Nolan.
steps off
he's
the
just
thing.
good at it. He's just good at it because he's been doing it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
He was at it for 10 years. The other one was at it for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so refreshing seeing someone not like learning how to be Spider-Man all by himself.
Yeah.
They were teachers. They were instructors. Hey, you can do this? I'm going to teach you because I'm really good at this now.
Mm-hmm.
And even the part of like, it's not just about web slinging and fighting. When they're in Alchemax and Pete is like looking through the ceiling vent and he's like, all right, I know the password. I memorized the password.
Right.
She typed it in once. And it's like, because he's a brilliant scientist and he's good at this.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen that before.
Good point.
And it was really fun.
Yeah.
It's what made it great for me. Was like how you say they got all the characters.
Yeah.
Like Gwen is doing Gwen stuff. Miles is like he's our intro. He's our character that we're gonna follow along.
He's the heart of the story.
We're gonna learn everything along with him. But we get to see the guys who are really good at it be really good.
Yeah.
And that was great.
This is very true. And even in a Spider-Man who is not quite as excited about being Spider-Man anymore, they did a great job of showing his like competence, but also it's pretty much all this dude is good at right now. You know, his personal life is kind of shite. So we see like a Peter Parker that was like, oh, this guy's depressed. This guy's having a breakdown.
Yeah.
You know, which is what a cool thing to do with that character. You know, what a cool place to take it and still be the Peter Parker who just fucking dude can't catch a break. You know what I mean?
And even then, it's still a new thing to identify with.
Yeah.
Like if you're a dad or you're in some relationship or you're middle aged and you're like, well, I'm not getting along with a woman for reasons and maybe I'll just give up. Maybe I'll just pound a few burgers to feel better about myself.
Or it could be like, you know what? I got these superpowers. I'm tired of helping people. I'm gonna be bad now. Maybe I'll steal some money. I'm tired. You know what? I'm giving up in a different way, and he could easily do that, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna have some burgers and pizza. I'll still fight crime, but like if I could just take this bagel with me.
Selecting a bagel.
He's got a bagel.
Oh man.
But it was nice to see, like, because at first it was almost kind of a bummer how he just didn't care, you know? Like, he's like, I just got to get back home. I don't care about anything. But then, like, he genuinely, like, wanted to help. You know, give him, like, a reason.
Even to the point where he told Miles to stop talking. He's like, you do not finish that sentence.
Oh, the responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm sick of that. Yeah.
Even like that, like really show, and like he's just casually walking up a wall.
Yeah, that whole scene with all the different perspectives of him walking up a wall, loved it. Just brilliant.
Can we hit the angles in filmmaking for a sec?
Of course.
Because like a few things that I picked up on, aside from just like all the angles that they were using, and like one of the promo images is Spider-Man like is Miles falling up into the city because it's above him. When his dad is dropping him off at school. And Miles is in the back of the cop car. Because we saw him like pass his old school and he's the popular kid. Everyone loves him. He's everyone's his best friend. And then we see him get to the new school and it's everyone's just kind of like staring at him quietly.
And he tries the same stuff too.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But like, so while he's in the cop car, every perspective we got was looking at him through the cage. And every time we saw the dad, the cage wasn't there. So we're getting this angle of like Miles is caged up. He's like, feels like he's trapped. He's behind bars. He doesn't have any choices. And his dad's the authority figure. And that was like one of those images where it's like, was that
a conscious choice?
Was that subtle enough or were they really driving it home? Like, was that something that a lot of people are going to pick up on?
Well, yeah, I mean, they did a really good job of like the imagery to tell like the mental state or like where Miles is in belief of himself. Like you said, like all the shots, like I have the poster of him, like it looks like he's jumping, but he's really diving. Because like, you know, Spider-Man jumps into the city, but like for Spider-Man, that's like ascending. So it's like Miles finally like rising up. even though he's jumping down. They did a lot of those really interesting. They did a great job with like having it look like a comic book. Like having things that aren't quite in the main image.
They had
or
there
like
was,
blurry
there was a
in the
term
back
for,
a little bit.
edge blending or
Yeah.
There were times where the I loved the animation. It was interesting. It was almost like frames were missing, like in the way they moved. But I will say that every now and then it kind of gave me a little bit of a headache.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Not
feel that
like,
at
and
all.
it's not like it didn't ruin the movie for me. It's just kind of like, oh, my head feels kind of funny watching this. But like, I got over it quickly. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. But I did love the way it was done. And like that was even a thing when the movie was like coming out and people were starting to talk about it. My boss brought it up to me because he knows I like comics and all that stuff. And I think he was thinking about maybe taking. He has a like 7 or 8 year old son or something like that. And he's like, "Have you seen the new Spider?" He's like, "It looks so weird."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, it does." And I was like, "I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing right now, but it does. It definitely looks different. It's not a typical."
And it looks new.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a new thing to look at.
It let a
Like
lot
the
of characters.
colors, the Super Collider colors, like, and that fight at the end with all the worlds blending.
That was insane.
It let all those characters move and interact in a certain way that
Can't
we
believe we haven't
hadn't
talked
seen
about that.
before.
Yeah.
Because like I want to go back to like the '90s Spider-Man cartoon where it's like it was real slow moving. It was pretty static. Like you didn't really it wasn't exciting. It's like, oh, he threw a web again, great. And then even some of the more modern cartoons were like we're getting those with Spider-Man and Deadpool team ups and all the Shield stuff. Even then, like they're still obeying laws of animation in that. Whereas, like, there's no laws in SpiderVerse.
Yeah, like it was so beautiful, and I assume incredibly difficult because each of the different spiders, say for Gwen and Peter and Miles, are animated in a different style.
Yeah,
and remain in that style, even when they're not in a background or a setting that they should. Match.
Like make this already insanely complex animated movie, but now animate this one character and everything he does and interacts with in the form of Looney Tunes.
Yeah, make him look 2D in a 3D plane, and like here's this character, but make sure like she's animated as if this was a Japanese anime, so she has to react. And
I got
move.
a real hi puffy Yumi vibe from her. Because she was almost like a 1D kind of.
Yeah,
she always looked really flat, like when she was in her robot.
Yeah, which makes sense that like she kind of would. Super cool. I think they did an awesome job. And then we didn't talk about this. You were talking about the cast list when it was going up at the end, and it said as interesting person number 1, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah,
and I turned to Ken and I was like, Oscar Isaac was in this movie. And he's like, when? And I was like, I don't know, maybe just a person walking. And then the post credits is him as Miguel. And they go to the 1960s cartoon?
Yeah.
Amazing. So funny.
because it's the meme.
Yeah. So good. So good.
You're pointing at me right now.
You started pointing. You stopped pointing at me.
It was nice seeing like they have more plans.
Oh, yeah.
And getting Miguel in there. Yeah, so I can only imagine the vocal director being like, so here's what I want to do for Peter B. Parker. Here's what I want to do for Kingpin. Spider-Ham, John, just be 150% John Mulaney. Just as John Mulaney as you are, just dial that way up. Give us like a 20.
And those characters, like...
I'm not complaining. I don't know what I would have rather had be different for Spider-Ham.
No, it was great.
I'll take it.
Very entertaining. And it was, those were just like little bonus people. Like they didn't, thematically didn't really need to be in the movie. It was just sweet to see them. You know?
According to IMDb, and again, this is all who knows, but it says, according to John Mulaney, the producers encouraged him to, quote, have fun, end quote, with his role as Spider-Ham. So he added cuss words to his dialogue. He eventually asked what the rating was of the film, which was PG. I kind of want to hear that dialogue. I want to hear
Suck
Spider-Man.
my dick. That's what Spider-Man would say, probably.
Probably.
Oh man, when the three of them were talking about their origin, bitten by radioactive
Pig. They all say spider. So good. Everything about that was great. I want to one thing I want to discuss, if we're talking characters, like getting their time, you know, Prowler getting his moment.
The way Prowler fucking moves.
Did you know who Prowler was?
Yes, Mahershala Ali.
No, I mean Uncle Aaron.
Oh, like
yes.
his identity.
I absolutely called that. I was like, oh, that's Uncle Aaron. Like, you know, it's just a trope, you know, like the estranged family member is secretly a bad guy, but he's a good guy on the inside.
Well, it's been in the books too.
Yeah, that's all.
I did not know that. I don't know, like, if in the actual books, if his uncle was Prowler. I didn't know that. I just guessed from the movie because I'm a genius.
He's also a new spider person now too.
Well, look at that.
Yeah.
But I loved his intro.
Yeah.
When, like, Chris Pine Spider-Man's like working on the thing, and then out of nowhere he's like, Prowler! Like,
Prowler!
It's like when your friend like hits you out of nowhere in Smash Bros. You're like, Colin! You know?
And the entire time
I'm
you're
fighting Goblin.
while you're fighting Goblin.
Like, it was just such an inconvenience. Like,
And
God damn it, Prowler.
Calling him Norman while you're doing it too.
There's so many good lines, but I don't want to move on from Prowler just yet. The way the noise that Prowler makes when he's chasing
Terrifying.
people,
Yeah.
Prowler is fucking scary.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just like that. Like
It was like War of the
that would
Worlds.
freak me the fuck out. Like, no wonder like Miles is terrified if someone was fucking screaming that shit. And he moves so cool.
And then finding out it's your like dear uncle.
The 90s Prowler was
Then he
never
puts
that
his
cool.
mask back on. I was like, holy shit, he's gonna stab him in the throat. Remember that? Like, he unmasks him and he's like, Kingpin's like, are you gonna kill him or what? And he's like, puts his mask back
Yeah.
on. And I was like, oh, I can't look at you when I do
my
this.
God.
This is gonna get brutal.
But I think it was more just protecting him. Shoot that guy.
Shoot that
The
guy. Kill that guy.
the 90s Prowler, not scary at all. No,
Yeah.
not one bit.
The first Prowler is Hobie Brown. I
Was
think
it?
was his character, and Hobie Brown
yeah.
is Spider-Punk, which is pretty cool.
We just got a look of
It's all true.
astonishment.
I got an
Eh.
O.
My first introduction to Prowler was a comic book my health teacher gave me that was like a Spider-Man comic about anti-smoking.
Right.
And Prowler was there. And I was like, who's this guy? He's got like a purple mask. He looks like Batman.
He was around the same time as Nightwatch came out, which was a not Spawn character.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um,
Moving on. Anyway.
In terms of Prowler, did you notice what Prowler was watching when we first meet Uncle Aaron? He's watching an episode of Community, and Donald Glover is on the screen wearing a Spider-Man shirt. Donald Glover actually played Aaron in Homecoming as well, and when his like high-tech suit looks at Donald Glover and it's like gives him his detail and it's like alias Prowler. And I was like, oh, interesting. Pretty cool stuff.
Did you know that in that Spider-Man in the post-credits appearance thing, that's the first time we've seen J. Jonah Jameson in a Spider-Man film since Spider-Man 3.
Yep.
So underappreciated. Just bring back, like, I think
He can be in it.
J.K. Simmons just needs a lifetime contract to play J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, Prowler, he was cool. It was a bummer in a way, but like you kind of see it coming, but it's like maybe it's not. Maybe he's
You gotta
like under
imagine
like
kids watching it
he's like
probably don't know.
hypnotized or something.
Yeah.
But then like it makes sense where like when he brings Miles down and he's like, you know, I worked on a contracting job down here, and then it turns out he was helping Kingpin
It's
build the
Alchemax,
thing.
yeah.
Which was
Speaking
also a cool way of merging the worlds. I was
Yeah.
like, how the hell is Miles gonna find Peter?
Yeah.
You know? Like, how are they gonna like? They're just gonna bump into each other on the street? Like,
Well, so there's a scene at the end of Venom. You watch the Venom movie, you get the credits for a bit, and then it shows you a clip of SpiderVerse. And like it showed you the scene from where Miles shows up in the graveyard and sees Peter's tombstone,
right,
and then like finds other Peter, and then slapstick happens.
right.
Which and like you get all that up until where like they fall off the subway car or whatever.
Damn.
Yeah. But like
It's condensed a little bit.
yeah, they
but-
cut a couple parts out of it, so like you didn't get all the story. You just got like Spider-Man's dead. What? Why is there Spider-Man?
But there's still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You don't know what Spider-Man it is.
And like at first I was like, what the hell are they doing? And then it was like, no, they're gonna make this kind of silly and slapstick, and that's why you see like Peter's face like up against car windows and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is supposed to be fun.
Just dragging on the. Oh my god, that was brutal.
Miles gives like the little head nod. What's up?
And the cop cars are chasing and everything. So like that came out before the movie did, as if to whet your appetite. Why did I get there? What were you on?
I don't know.
You were on
why
they
they would
interacted.
meet. Yeah.
Right. And so, not knowing what came before that, that's what our first, interaction was.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, they meet in the graveyard.
What the fuck is this movie going to be about? It was so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
On the subject of character, got to give a shout out. Loved the Doc Ock in this one, and her reveal was so fucking tits up awesome.
She was fun.
That was so cool.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't.
No, it was,
I
and it was
didn't,
so amazing because everyone is like, "Fuck!" Because as a fan, you're like, "No," it's so awesome.
It's like, wow,
So,
she's
and
got
that
him.
actress is great too.
She's got him locked into that chair pretty fit. Why is he strapped into that chair already?
And it was so creepy, that line. She's like, "I can't wait to watch." It's like, ooh.
Catherine
And he's like,
Hahn.
"I'm sorry."
She's not only she's hilarious, and I thought she was perfect. She made me laugh. I was also terrified of her.
Yeah.
And then it was a good, and the tentacles were like
Poofy.
they were like more for doing science than causing
Yeah.
mayhem. You know, like these help me do science most of the time, but right now they're helping me catch you.
Whatever. So the choice for the tentacles, we're so used to getting, the metal extendos with the metal claws,
Yep.
and they clank when they pinch. They look like the Sentinels from Matrix.
They make
they're-
kathunks
Yeah,
when they
they're
walk.
creepy as
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And then we get hers, which were bubbly, and
Yeah.
you can see the
They're
bubble
like
travel.
gerbil tubes.
You can see the bubble almost travel along when they're going to squeeze or when
Yeah.
they're going to activate and do stuff. They still moved really fast, but that helped her be stealthy and quiet, so you didn't know she was coming. You can't hear that clank clank and everything, but she's still holding Gwen Stacy still with it.
Yeah.
They're still, you can still get the idea that oh, these are really strong.
Yeah.
These are super
They're
strong.
a dangerous thing. Plus, she enabled to have much more of an exciting fight than a fight with Kingpin would be. If you're just gonna have Kingpin, have something, Dr. Octopus can move around and stuff. And I liked that line where, they're all like, "All right, guys, buckle in. This is gonna take a while to fight her," and then a bus hits her. Oh, not that long. She was so funny.
I did get really concerned for Aunt May's house.
Yeah, yeah. Which is designed to look like Aunt May's house from the Spider-Man movies, the Raimi ones. Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Because it was such a they show up and she's telling them to take it outside, but they still end up destroying the entire house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that actually stressed me out. A
Yeah.
lot. Watching the whole time, I was like, God, her house.
Why do you need to be in here?
So I put it.
It's like
on
Metropolis and fucking Man of Steel all over
Yeah.
again. Fight in space.
I put it on my Facebook. Did you guys both see it?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah?
I saw that.
Do you want to talk about that?
About you shipping?
Yeah. So when Peter B meets Liv, and he's like, "Oh, that's me.
We vibing.
It's done."
Someone's getting a call.
And he's like, "Oh, do your friends call you Dr. Octopus?" She's like, "No, my friends call me Liv. My enemies call me Dr. Octopus." And I was like, "Oh, that was really cool." But then the bad guys show up at Aunt May's house, and Dr. Octopus breaks in, and Aunt May goes, "Liv," and I was like,
Were they friends? I never would have put that together.
I would support them having had relations, but I didn't see that at all because she says "Oh, great, it's Liv."
It was real cold.
It was real kind of, but I mean, cool if they're banging sweet. A little bit of an age difference, but whatever. It's all good.
Because I didn't want to jump right to that of well, they know each other, and why do they know each other? Do I want to bring it back to the 616 because Dr. Otto and Aunt May dated for a bit and we're almost going to get married, and be I just don't want to transfer that, but that would make sense. And so I pitched it, and a lot of my friends were like, "Oh yeah, you're not the first one. There's already fan art of that of that ship."
Very interesting.
And if they were friends, that's the greeting you might give your ex when you see them. And people are like, "Oh, well, maybe they're coworkers." Is that the greeting you give someone you used to work with? And do you still call them Liv when "Oh yeah, you constantly try to kill my nephew. You work for the man who tries to kill my nephew." They know each other. I figure there's history there. And it took 3 seconds and 2 lines to establish that. Like, what would we have gotten if we got like a different, writers, directors of like.
We need an Aunt May movie.
We need a 5-minute flashback and a 3-minute monologue for them to talk about it, and it's like, no, we did it. There it is. It's done. We did it.
And Aunt May holds her own,
you missed
too.
it.
She smacks him out.
Scorpion with a bat, right?
Yeah, and like
She fucking Negans him.
exactly.
That's what you call hitting someone with a bat.
Yep. That's accurate.
Give him the old.
Mick
What's
Foley.
that actor's name? Gave him the old Jeffrey Dean.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the old comedian.
Dorgan.
What do you guys want to see in the sequel? Because we're getting one.
Venom, just Venom, more Venom. Give me Venom.
Eddie Brock.
Eddie. No,
Flash Thompson, the superior Venom.
See, this is where I struggle because my main Spider-Man knowledge are the movies. I haven't read a lot of Spider-Man comics. I've read, actually, that's kind of not true. But the Spider-Man that I have read has been I read the first omnibus of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Great book.
So it's
So
very,
good,
very
right?
good, very good. Which kind of has a similar Goblin,
Yeah.
Goblin was like the big demon guy.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. That he's like a monster.
But without wings.
Yeah.
Did he not have wings in the
No,
book?
he never had wings in the book.
Huh.
He had really big Hulk jumps kind of bullshit,
Yeah.
Okay.
which I'll take. Whatever, sure.
You didn't like the wings. You want the glider.
No. Well, the Ultimate Goblin didn't have a glider, but he was large and green and on fire,
In charge.
and
Oh yeah, he could shoot fire out of his mouth like Etrigan, right?
or throw fireballs. I'm
That's
really
pretty cool. Maybe he spat in his hand and he was like, nah, real gross.
but
That's
that's
the noise he made.
yeah.
It's Spider-Man. Blah.
But that's the Ultimate version.
Yeah.
I'll take and be like, right, Ultimate version, gotcha.
Right.
And then when it's the movie one, it's like, all right, okay.
I mean, there's that version of Goblin might show up in the next one. Who knows? There's a bunch of goblins now.
I'm really not going to point to anything in the movie and be like, that's wrong.
There's a lot of bizarre and weird different versions of. There's Spider-Man. You know.
Well,
There's-
when we
Spiders,
when
man.
we started the episode, and I hoped we were going to talk about the movie, and we didn't. And you said Man of Spiders, and I was like, is that a character? And I looked it up real quick.
Yeah, man. Did you see?
It's not.
I
There's a Man
retweeted
of
it.
Bats. There's a Batman who's Man of Bats, but there's not a Man of Spiders.
There's a
But
there's a
this-
Spider's man.
I know Spider's Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's made of a 1,000
spiders who thinks he's Peter Parker. It's just so. How did no one write that before? That came out a month ago. No one's thought of that.
Do we think they took that from Rick and Morty with Million Ants?
I don't
Million
know.
ants.
It's a person who's made of a million ants. and there's one queen you have to find to defeat the entire person.
Turns out the entire time in Trigon, his brother was just a million
bunch
knives.
of knives. in his suit.
That was a deep cut. That was for 6 people.
Who managed to finish Trigon?
You got one person at work going, nice.
To piggyback off your last question of what would you want in a sequel?
Yeah.
I walked out of this movie terribly emotional.
I thought you were gonna say you walked out of it.
I
He doesn't have a glider.
That
was my Alex voice, apparently.
glider. I'd like to go in the early morning when no one else is there, so no one gets to watch me cry, because I cried at least 5 times.
Yo, we didn't even talk about Stan Lee's cameo.
I was gonna say I think Ken mentioned
Give
that
me 2 seconds, please, pretty please.
Hang on, let's do it before he can. When
So-
Stan showed up.
I played a guessing game when I was watching the movie, thinking, I wonder if this is when Alex cried. I swear to God, I was like, this is probably what got him because I'm feeling it right now too. Anyways, continue.
I left the movie really happy because it was a great movie. Kind of sad because a lot of it hit me hard. And also furious because anyone who ever wants to be a creator and make things, how are you going to follow that? Nothing I'm going to make is going to compare to that. I just want to shit all my ideas into a toilet and flush them away because they don't matter now.
Oh, don't say that.
How many creators have you met where it's like, oh, I want to make this thing, and then they pick up, Ivan Rice art, and be like, you know what? Why bother now? Why? I'm just gonna break all my pencils and throw my art away. Oh, look how good John Cassidy is. Alan Moore. I can't write this. I'm just gonna flush all my papers. So I have nothing to go on. for a sequel.
I have nothing left.
Because nothing's going to be good. Anything
man.
I think of isn't going to be good enough.
That's the thing, bro. You might if that's the mindset you got, you might want to watch SpiderVerse again, because the point of SpiderVerse is like every Spider-Man has value.
Mm-hmm.
Every creation, every idea matters, especially if it's yours. Like, you're the only one that can put out what you can put out.
Mm-hmm.
So don't say stuff like that, man. Don't say like you can't do, like, why bother? Like, Stan Lee can't make something that Alex Squires could make. Only Alex Squires could do that.
Oh,
That's
You know
the
what I
nice thing.
Well, that's fucking A. I mean, that's what the movie, like, you're right. There was a lot of moments that
getting
got
back
me.
up.
You know, getting, like, Peter Parker always gets back up, which is why I think one of the main problems that I had with Homecoming, the Tom Holland Spider-Man in general, is like, it may seem like it, but shit doesn't ever really seem to go wrong for him. Like, he has troubles, but nothing really seems to stick, you know. But like Peter Parker of PS4 is like getting evicted and like getting in fights with his girlfriend and like in Peter Parker is an inspiration to a lot of people because he doesn't give up in the face of like, shit sucks, dude.
Every aspect of my life sucks.
Yeah, like the guy, despite every day there's some other challenge, he's getting punched by somebody really, really hard. He's getting made fun of. He's, you know, getting shit on at work. You know, he can't tell the people that he loves like how he feels like correctly because he fucks it. Like, remember the PS4 game, like when he's texting Mary Jane and he's like, okay, and he like can't figure out what he's supposed to say.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like that's a character that we can all see ourselves in.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing him like portrayed so well in media over the past year has been a real treat for fans, because we've gotten, like, Tom Holland is good. He's a good Spider-Man, but like he's not in a that didn't really feel like a Spider-Man movie, because like,
so for me,
it's tough to talk about.
For me, Homecoming had one of those elements where it's like, okay, guys, it's time to make a movie, and here's some of the stuff we're going to do with it, but it's not enough conflict. So what we're going to do is we're going to manufacture fake conflict and then just shove that into the movie now.
Yeah.
And I felt like there was a lot of that, and it dragged it a bit. Overall, I liked it. But like with those elements,
it's like a fine movie.
With those elements of like, oh, Happy's not listening to him. Tony's not telling him shit. He's getting ignored by these two people who are supposed to be helping him out.
Right.
And it results in a lot of bullshit that didn't have to happen. And then at the end, he's like, that's okay, you guys. And I'm like, you could have died.
Yeah.
He could have died because of you two being morons.
You know, and like, I like Tobey Maguire's, like in Spider-Man 2, like, shit keeps going wrong for that dude. Like, he can't catch a break despite having like this big heart, and he's just trying to do his best. And like, he gets fired, and like, he's getting, you know, he can't fucking get rent going,
losing his powers.
like, he can't fucking,
his best friend's going crazy.
Yeah,
Delivers the pizza late.
he lets people down in his life by the choices that he makes. But in like something like Homecoming, like, even when he makes like a wrong, like, he ditches his buddy at the party, like the next day his friend's like, we good.
Yeah.
You know, or like he ditches like the Scholastic team, and they're like, that's cool, you're back on. But it's like, what does he have? Like, this dude's got like a perfectly fine life, like this Peter. I mean, and that's cool. Whatever. I don't know why I'm trying to get. Point is, like, I like seeing a Peter Parker that struggles, because it's that much more.
When he gets
more
up, it means
impressive.
something.
Yeah, when he lifts up something heavy off of himself. You know what I mean?
There's been an issue or two where he's had like a Batman moment where he's like facing down a shotgun thug and he's just like facing him dead on. And the thug will just give up. And he's like, I can recognize the face of a man who has nothing left to lose. Where it's like, you've been through so much and you're not quitting, and I'm not going to make you quit. So I'm going to give up. And that whole thing of like, even through the mask, this man has nothing left to lose, and he's still facing me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, can we discuss how far the character has come from Stan Lee just putting pen to paper saying, here's a kid named Peter Parker, a nice alliteration.
Some little bit of alliteration.
He was bitten by a radioactive spider? We'll call him SpiderMan. It has no business being as deep and everything we've been talking about the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
As it is. But it is, and it's still, it makes you tear up at the movies when it's like, come on, Peter, just get up, or like when he's painting when he's spray painting and like just like it's and when his dad's making him tell him he loves him.
That was fun.
Man, I lost it.
So good.
So funny.
I mean, and you're right, because what Stan Lee did there is like he created like, okay, cool, it's a superhero, like he's got like these cool powers, like you can get some cool shit with that, that'll be fun actions. But he was like, what if we made this guy like, he'll have money problems, he's not handsome, he's not like the best looking dude, he's not super charming. I mean, like that's where people can see themselves in Spider-Man, and like the whole idea of like anyone can wear the mask is like, yeah, because we all should strive to keep going, like keep trying. Whatever we're doing, if we face like adversity or problems or we're struggling with a thing, if we fucking get back up, like you're Spider-Man. You know what I mean? You get it. We get it.
We get it.
We get it.
That's always been my differentiation between Marvel and DC. Of like Marvel has characters you can identify with, and like if you dip into it a bit and not be like, oh, Wolverine has claws. No, I mean everything is about Spider-Man. Like when he's a teenager, he's awkward. He doesn't know how to talk to the girl. He still has to do this courageous thing and fight these bad guys, and then still has to have a job. He has to support Aunt May. He has all these responsibilities. And even like going across the other things of like Banner has to control himself. And the X-Men are, they're prejudiced against because they're different. And so many things. Then you look at DC and go, Superman's perfect. And my excuse, for those two things is like, well, you could identify with one and you can't with the other. But reality sucks. So you should have some escapism.
I think when Marvel, like creators like Ditko and Stan Lee and the like DC doesn't have a Stan Lee, so to speak, or that kind of overseeing type sort of creator, in the sense that like when the Marvel characters are created, they're created to like they're in New York City, they exist to empathize with, whereas like when DC, it was like all power fantasy stuff. Now we have creators like who's the big wig of DC now?
Jeff Johns.
Jeff Johns will like put pathos into Superman. Like, okay, what would this character who is perfect struggle with?
Yeah.
But it's reverse engineered. You know what I mean? So whereas one was created to be somebody that we all kind of
they've come a long way.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of hands.
I mean, we're not shitting on DC. Like this isn't even a conversation about the movies. This is just in terms of how to tell these stories. Man, I fucking love comic books, dude. I fucking love Spider-Man.
So let's see, when did I start crying? A real good one,
just in general.
So in life, yesterday, one that hit me real hard was when Gwen Stacy was doing her intro, and she was talking to Peter and Miles, and she'd said that she couldn't save her best friend. She never told them who her friend was. She never named him. She never said it was you or it was your mentor who died. She didn't name who her best friend was.
Right. Because for those who don't know, it
was her
it's
universe.
Peter.
Yeah.
It's Peter Parker.
And at that point, I hit like a...
I mean, it's so...
It's not funny.
Like, I mean, that was rough. Like, Spider-Man's whole, like, they hit the song where the news is announcing that I'm gonna fucking tear up. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Where they're announcing that Spider-Man is dead, and they're like, he was a 26-year-old dude.
Yeah.
Did you just hand me a box of tissues for everyone who's listening?
Well, I mean, I might get him
I'm
too.
gonna have to fucking need.
I'm not gonna.
And it's like everyone's like looking at their phone, like, holy shit,
Mm-hmm.
this dude who didn't really owe us this in the sense that like
His life just started.
this young kid, this was Spider-Man, he's fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was brutal. And then everyone's wearing the man. The guys, they're at the service with Mary Jane talking, and Miles is like, they're counting on me. And that kid leans in. And he's
Probably
like,
not you.
Probably not you, like, specifically. It's so good. The Stan Lee cameo was great, you know, where he's like, what did he say? He's like, you know, we were friends. That me and Spider-Man. That was fucking sweet.
Everyone always pays.
No, it always fits eventually.
Yeah,
You'll grow into it. Yeah.
No refunds. Shit was so funny. I thought one of the things that got me was when so the whole end of the solving of the crisis is they have to destroy the super collider.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to jump through the super collider to get back to your original reality, because all the different disparate spider people are glitching in Miles' universe because they don't
Which
belong.
some of the best comedic timing
So funny.
with those glitches.
So good.
I feel fine.
Have you been glitching a lot? Why would you say that? Shit's great. So like, yeah, so they're like, okay, we need to, and the initial plan is like Miles will destroy it because he doesn't have to go through it, but like, you know, he's not quite ready for it. So like Peter B. Parker is like, where they're like the spiders show up and Miles isn't there yet, and they're like, Peter, are you like sure that you're like cool with this because you'll die? Here is the implication.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's fine. And he swings off, you know? I was like, oh, this is rough. Because it's just a dude who's like depressed. He lost what was important to him was Mary Jane, you know, the person he loves more than anything. And like, he's so scared of like trying to rectify his mistake and like that, like, I fucked it up, dude. Why even... It's cool that Miles was able to inspire him. Like when he fucking is like, I've made my choice. It's fine. We're good. And like he like holds him over the thing. Like that is, I'm fucking crying. When he holds him over the fucking collider.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, what if I just fuck it up again? You know, like that's like so
You won't know.
good. Like, and it was so good of Miles to give him the choice to be like, I'm gonna drop instead of just throwing him in it. Like he was like, I'm gonna give you a chance to be like, I'm okay with you putting me in this collider. You know, like let me.
I'm okay with you dumping me in the super collider that's about to create a black
it was
hole in
it
Brooklyn.
was a kindness to be like, I'm not just gonna knock you in there. Like you're gonna be okay.
It's what I think is best for you, so obviously you should do it.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna throw you in.
Yeah.
I thought Peter B. Parker was such a good character. I mean, seeing without it being beaten over your head, like this is a person who is going through depression, like seeing it on such like a, especially with like a fucking superhero that everyone fucking knows, Spider-Man. I don't know, it means a lot, you know. Real cool, real fucking sad. I love that shit.
How many
I love
times
sad things.
How
the
many
most.
times would he have risked his life already anyway?
You know what I mean? And it's like, how long until he's just like, just fucking.
And then he takes lessons from Miles, and like you see him at Mary Jane's door. You know, you don't know how she reacts. You just see him like, you know, with this big like
bouquet.
Please,
Hey,
I'm trying, and like with the bread. I'm sorry, I wasn't there for you. With the bread.
Okay.
How many times he was like, "Oh, I'm so glad I'm having kids," and then he's like, "Maybe."
Oh my God, do I want kids? So good.
He was amazing.
That performance was so good. So fucking funny.
And the funniest parts for me, and I've been telling this to everyone, was when they're stealing the computer in the lab.
I knew you were going with this one.
So my favorite one was that scene when she goes, "That's proprietary," and like so much is happening around everybody.
And that's her concern. When like the whole time Peter has this, or Miles, excuse me, has the computer, it never even occurred to me, like, hey man, you don't need the monitor. Like, I'm like, yeah, he needs that computer. Just get the computer, dude. So like the first thing when when Peter B. Parker's like finally like in it to win it, you know, he's like, okay, first thing, don't need the monitor. Like, and I was like, oh yeah, he doesn't.
There's a lot. He was real good at quipping in the sense of like nice quipping, just like kind of being funny.
Yeah.
Like when I like when they're in the vent and he's like, ooh, that's bad. Actually, everything they said was bad. I was lying before. It was so good.
And then Kingpin's going to say, have it done in 24 hours.
You have 24 hours. Oh, it's so good.
It's a brilliant movie. I highly recommend. I mean, it won a Golden Globe over a Pixar movie. It beat out Incredibles 2, which
was a superhero movie.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, I liked Incredibles 2. It wasn't the greatest. I liked the first one. The first one was much better.
Screenslaver was like, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
You kind of like knew who the bad guy was, like right when you met them.
How long did we wait for Incredibles 2 anyway?
The original came out in 2004, 2005, I believe, because I saw it in Boston with my girlfriend at the time.
Remember that scene where they go to like Peter Parker's like underground thing, and like Peter B. Parker is like, "Oh yeah, I got one of these."
Miles like, "Look, cape."
Okay, don't wear a cape. It's disrespectful. He can turn invisible. He can't do it on command.
He's trying to like hype him up. And also, they called it a Venom strike. He's like, hit me with a Venom strike right now. And I was like, Venom? What? Oh, they're referring to his shock thingy.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, I didn't.
Too,
I fell behind on that one.
When they're all like on the ceiling, shifting back and forth.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed when Miles went back by himself, and Iron-Man was just sitting there drinking tea, waiting for him.
Yeah, it was dope. His suit is red. I mean, all the suits were. Did you see the PS4 Spidey suit was in there? Was in one.
Yes,
of the
it was in one of the cases. Yeah, that was dope. All right, so this is turning into something new, something more. So we're gonna end here for now, and we're gonna pick up where we left off next week. So for now, I'm sorry for the cliffhanger.
It's a big whoops.
It turns out we had a lot to say about Spider-Man.
I got a lot of things to say.
A lot of things. So you're going to have to wait until next week to hear them, but don't worry.
Next week is the Andrew Garfield episode.
Exactly. The in defense of Andrew Garfield.
The role of Alex Squires will be portrayed by
on the topic of
Emma
Andrew
Stone.
So until
Dane
then,
DeHaan as JR.
Colin will be back, by the way.
I'm coming back.
He'll still be.
You can't get rid of me.
So until then, I've been JR.
I'm Alex.
And that was Colin.
And this has been episode 356 of Opinions May Vary.